What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to Pause or Set Play. Today I want to make a quick video on PlayStation Now, and this is the streaming service that came out a couple years ago. Wanted to make a quick video on my review of PlayStation Now and let you know if I think it's worthwhile to drop the $20 a month for this service. Now, like I said, this did come out a few years ago. They had made some improvements and some changes to it since then, and as of right now there are approximately 450 games that you can play in this streaming service. By and large, most of those games are PS3 games. There are, I think, 4 or 5 PlayStation 4 games, and they have just come out with some Sega games as well, so you'll notice some old school titles here as well. But like I said, most of the games on here are PS3. There are some really good PS3 games on here. If I go down to the 50 greatest hits, you'll recognize some great games. Obviously, Red Dead Redemption. They have the Tomb Raider remake, not the Rise of the Tomb Raider, but this is the game that came out, I believe, in 2015. You have Borderlands 1 and 2, The Last of Us, and the DLC for that as well. Infamous, so there's a lot of good games here. Resident Evil HD Remake. So you're going to find some really strong games here. Obviously, these are, for the most part, aside from this HD Resident Evil, for the most part, these are the original releases. For instance, I was playing God of War 3. This is the original PS3 version, not the HD remastered version for PS4. And for the most part, that's what you'll see here. I think they do that for two reasons. First and foremost, for PS4 games, a lot of those games just coming out, so they're being sold at retail as standalone copies. But also too, I think some of it has to do with the technical challenges associated with streaming services. When you first sign up, I just signed up for the 7-day trial, but when you first sign up, it tests your internet connection, and mainly seeing if you have a stable enough or strong enough internet connection to support PlayStation Now. My personal recommendation is that you want to use a wired connection. You want to keep the connection as stable as you can. If you go Wi-Fi or wireless, then I think you kind of run into the dips in your connection that may impact the performance here. And to be sure, there is when you're playing, there's if you're playing Wi-Fi, there's a chance that you'll get a drop in your connection, and if it drops too much, then you won't be able to stream from the server here for these games. So definitely go with the wired connection. I think in the future, as internet connections get stronger, faster download and upload speeds, then I think you'll start seeing, PS4 games and beyond be a part of the streaming service. But I think we're still pretty far away from having, gigabit Ethernet connections be readily available to most people. So by and large, like I said, PS3 games. There are some older games. The cost for this service, it is $20 per month. I think when you look at it that way, it's not too much, but like with most expenses, you should try to look at it from a annual perspective. So $20 a month equates to $240 per year. So not exactly a cheap service, for PlayStation Now. And when you look at it that way, $240, that's roughly 4 brand new games. If you're going with Best Buy Unlocked or Amazon Prime, I think now they offer 20% off new games. Then you're looking at 5 new games per year. So what do you value more? Getting 4 or 5 brand new PS4 or Xbox One games, or do you want to devote some of that money to having a streaming service that has much more games, but they are older versions or games from 2015 and later. So my personal opinion, I'm still kind of lukewarm. I don't think I'm going to renew this service or go past the free trial. while there are a lot of cool games on here, and there's a lot of games that I didn't play when they first came out, by and large, I don't quite think the value is there. When you're dealing with the fact that most of the games on here, you're getting them for nostalgia purposes, I think if that is their model, or if that's part of their model, one glaring omission here is they don't have any PS1 Classic games, and I think that's an issue. If this service included all the PS1 classics that you can get on PS3 or PS Network, then suddenly I think the value is much, much more, and something that I'd be more inclined to pay for. But as it stands right now, the fact that nearly every single game in here is a PS3 game, I don't quite think the value is there. If you still have a PS3, you can easily pick up a lot of these games for very cheap, and enjoy them that way. But who knows? Maybe in the future here, the PlayStation Now will start including more classic games, but also augment that with current titles as well. So in the future, it might be more of a service that you'd want to pay for. But right now, I think $20 a month is pretty steep. $240 a year is pretty steep. If they were to either augment that with more games, more classic games, and more current gen titles, then I think that's a price point that would be worth considering. Or if they were to kind of lower this price down to $10 a month, then I can see the current offerings being more fitting for that type of value. So that's my personal opinion. I'd hold off for now unless you really like these titles here, these PS3 games. I don't quite think the value is there yet. With that said, the changes that they've made since this came out, I think it's trending in the right direction, and it could be something worthwhile in the near future. Last but not least, I'll just jump into a game right here so you can kind of see the overall performance. I am using the wired connection right now. And as you fire the game up, essentially what's happening is that you're pulling this game, you're streaming this game directly from a Sony or a PlayStation server. You just saw briefly there the icon that will pop up if your performance or if your server connection is dropping. That can ultimately lead to the game kind of shutting down. So we'll just show real quick a minute or two of this God of War 3 and get an idea of how the games perform. Just to give some quick background, my connection right now, I am using a wired connection. I don't have the fastest internet, but certainly it's pretty good. I think I'm in that 50 download speed, megabits per second, so a pretty good internet, but not the best. Let's just jump in here. I'm trying to fast forward as much as I can, but gotta go through these loading screens, I guess. Alright, so load this game up. Just played it yesterday for a little while. Alright, so I mean, right now everything's going pretty smooth. You don't see any of that dropping in connection. I think this service, if you don't have a wired connection, you probably not really. I mean, that was really that just kind of says how much they got out. I never played the HD remake, so I bet you it's better. I mean, you can see here there isn't much lag, if anything. Now, if I were to switch this over to Wi-Fi, then you would start noticing that type of drop in performance. So I can't stress that enough. You want to make sure you're using a wired connection. Even with that said, you notice there that for the first-person shooter games, it's games like Borderlands, Bioshock Infinite, or it's more of a single-player experience. I just don't know if the current technology and current internet service providers, unless you have an amazing connection, I just don't see this being something you could use for games like Destiny or Call of Duty or competitive multiplayer games, because any lag there whatsoever is going to completely destroy your for single player games, hey, this works. You need to have a pretty strong internet connection. By and large, my opinion is right now, for the price point it has, not quite there yet. But I guess it's a case by case basis there. If you really love your PS3 games and you primarily play single player games, hey, it might be worth it. So, I want to make that quick video on PlayStation Now. If you found this video helpful, a like or a subscription would be even better. If you are playing PS Now and enjoying it, let me know what your thoughts are. But most importantly, thanks for watching. Enjoy your game.